The United States has spoken about Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's arrest. On the 26th of March, a US State Department spokesperson said the US encouraged a fair, transparent and timely legal process for Chief Minister Kejriwal. On the 27th of March, a day later, the US State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said it was continuing to follow these actions closely, including the arrest of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. A spokesperson said they were aware of the Congress party's allegations that tax authorities have frozen some of the Congress party's bank accounts in a manner it would make it challenging to effectively campaign in the upcoming elections. Now let's take a look at what the United States said when Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan was arrested on corruption charges 10 months ago. On the 7th of August, Matthew Miller, the US State Department spokesperson, said, "We believe that it is an internal matter for Pakistan. At times there are cases around the world that are so obviously unfounded that the United States believes it should say something about the matter." So that's what the US said about Imran Khan's arrest last year, and this is what they just said about Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's arrest just a few days ago. Why these double standards for the United States, for India and for Pakistan? And I'm joined today to discuss this by Ashok Sajjanhar, Ambassador and former Indian Diplomat, and my friend Pramit Pal Chaudhuri and my colleague Justin Thomas in the studio. Ambassador Sajjanhar, first the US and now Germany. Why is the West taking such a keen interest in India's internal affairs?
Yeah, meaning it is election time, it's election season, so I think being interested in what is happening in India as far as the elections are concerned, I can understand.
Yes.
But, different countries have interest in other countries, meaning India is interested in what's happening in the United States,
right,
in the US elections. Frankly, that is what our embassies there are for.
Yes.
To look at what the situation is and try to strengthen relations between the two countries, try
yes,
to explain to the headquarters as to what
right,
is happening.
Right.
And what I feel is that either US embassy has failed miserably in its duty
right,
to convey to its, to the parent authorities in the United States, the State Department,
yes,
as to what exactly is the situation. That there
right,
were 9 summons that were issued to Kejriwal.
right, right.
He was required by
yes,
law to present himself.
Right.
And even people like, the Chief Minister, the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, had presented himself for long interrogations, etc.
Yes.
So this was, they should have informed them. It's not something happening out of the blue,
right,
that, you have just an arrest for no rhyme or reason, etc. that is appearing.
Right.
And so I think it is totally unwarranted, totally uncalled for what it
right,
has been mentioned. And I'm glad what the Ministry of External Affairs has spoken about it. Also on the Congress issue, this is an internal matter
right,
between two political parties.
Right.
Meaning, if you are talking about what is the stand of the Congress party as to that their funds have been frozen,
yes,
then I think we are also duty bound to give the point of view of the authorities.
Right.
And what the other political parties have said, the BJP has said, and what the income tax authorities have said, that there are certain rules and whatever is being done is exactly as per the rules.
Right.
And they should, India is, we see from the highest echelons of power authority in the United States, that they always speak about India as a strong democracy, it's a robust
yes,
democracy, and it works very well. So why can't this issue also be mentioned in the same way? The last point that I want to make very briefly is, again, what you mentioned about Pakistan. And,
yes,
that is hypocrisy of the highest extent. And even if I may also add,
yes,
on the recent elections, when it was very clear
yes,
that, the army had been trying to control it and to make the decision go in a particular way, still the Foreign Office spokesperson, State Department spokesperson, he
yes,
mentioned that it is a very competitive election that has taken
yes,
place.
right,
Giving a full clean sheet of the manner in which things have evolved. Of course, it came as, it was mud on their face when there were so many allegations that
Yes.
the police and all the others were pressurizing that
Right,
the
right.
in a certain manner.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ambassador Sajjanhar. Important points you've raised there. And, Pramit, is there some kind of transmission and distribution loss between New Delhi and Washington when it comes to conveying, what's going on here with the Indian political scene, as Ambassador Sajjanhar mentioned? I meant the US Embassy and Foggy Bottom.
Could be. I don't know. It's hard to tell. We don't have the information, I think, on that front. I think what I would say, and I would speculate here, you'll notice that both the German and the American governments are effectively center-left governments,
Yes.
right? And the center-left in the West overall, particularly the left, really more than any group, has been genuinely and has been consistently hostile to Prime Minister Modi.
Right.
And taken up this narrative of democratic backsliding.
Yes.
And Modi being an autocratic leader or electoral autocracy and so on.
Right, right.
There has been a tendency for governments of that ilk, even if the prime minister or the chancellor himself may have a different point of view,
Right.
to cater to that group. Normally with these kind of sort of throwaway rhetorical statements, we are concerned about this. We hope the government of India will behave in a certain fashion. They've never done anything beyond that. They've just done these throwaway, which are irritating. They don't affect the larger scope of the relationship, especially definitely the one between India and the United States. But they seem to be an attempt to appease the left arm or left wing of their own governments, or sometimes human rights groups and departments,
signaling to their electorate
that we are, we are watching this India, and it's irritating, and it's somewhat pointless, and it's also a bit silly, especially from the United States, given the somewhat fractured nature of their own democracy right now. Right. It's almost a joke now for anybody in the United States to give a lecture to a country which actually runs, in many ways, I would argue, a freer and fair election now than the United States does.
Absolutely.
There's gerrymandering here. The voting is as clean as possible with electronic voting machines.
Yes.
We have an electoral commission that runs it, rather than the strange structures that exist in American states.
Right.
You could go on and on. So yes, it's a thing, but I think it is a throwaway statement, especially on the Americans, and it reflects a need within their systems.
Yes.
And both Chancellor Scholz and Biden, you may note, are not in great political shape at home. They need to keep the left happy because they need their votes one way or the other. I mean, Scholz has a very good chance of having to run he has a European Parliament election that he's probably not well in. And if he does badly in that, there's a very good chance his government would fall anyway, in which case you'd have to go for elections again.
Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.